Kia ora everybody, welcome to our Making Sense of the Silly Season webinar from what is turning into be a beautiful Wellington day after thunderstorms and lightning early this morning. Certainly a wee bit different to the 30 degrees and sunshine I experienced in Gisborne yesterday. So welcome to this and thank you for tuning in to those of you that have joined us this morning. It is called the Silly Season for a reason, and hopefully we will make sense of it for you, or a little bit of sense of it for you during the next 30 minutes or so. A little bit different this time round. Keith's not sitting with me in Wellington, he's down in Christchurch, and will join in very shortly. Sitting in the boardroom here in Wellington with me is Lee. So thanks for putting all of this together as well, Lee, so we can get out to the masses. Appreciate it. Any questions that you have, if you can enter those through the chat, and Lee will call them out and we will do our best to answer them for you. So, without further ado, let's get right into the first presentation slide. Trading over Christmas, or over the holiday season. Under a club license, you are permitted to trade on any public holiday without the need of a special license. We do know that some clubs have temporary memberships or day memberships. We would advise not to make those available on a public holiday, lest that the licensing inspectors come in and think that you're rorting the system. So if you do have those memberships available, we'd suggest that it's not a good idea to make them available on a public holiday. For the committees and the management, when you're making the decision to trade or to close, we'd recommend that you consider all aspects, what you've traditionally done, but primarily consider your revenue, that you will earn versus the additional costs of opening on a public holiday. Which this year, thankfully, there are no Mondayizations for this year for public holidays over the festive period. They are, of course, the public holidays, Christmas, Boxing Day, New Year's Day, and the 2nd of January. You may also have your local anniversary day occurring just during this time, so just check what is applicable in your area. But the key thing is there is no Mondayization for any public holiday over the festive period. So nice and simple when it comes to payroll. The two areas that clubs do struggle with are the pay rates. When do you pay the time and a half, and when do you accrue the alternative leave dates? So hopefully in that table it's quite simplistic, easy to understand. An employee that works at public holiday, which is a normal working day for them, you will pay them at the time and a half, and you will also accrue an alternative leave day. For an employee who works a public holiday but is not a normal working day for them, and the general rule of thumb there is, say, 4 out of the last 5. There's nothing set in legislation, but just a sense of pattern will determine that. Yes, you will pay them the time and a half, but no, you will not accrue an alternative leave day. Any employee that is not required to work a public holiday, which would have otherwise been a working day for them, for example, if you close down, they are entitled to be paid their relevant daily pay for that day, but they do not accrue an alternative leave day. Any employee on annual leave that coincides with a public holiday, which would otherwise have been a working day for them, they're entitled to be paid their relevant daily pay for that day instead of using annual leave. But confusing, but hopefully that clarifies it for you. When you are looking at relevant daily pay, that means the amount of pay that the employee would have received had they worked that day concerned. So if they worked 8 hours and their hourly rate was $25, it's 8 times 25. Simple maths. Annual holiday pay is a bit different. It's based at the rate, or a rate, on the greater of the employee's ordinary weekly pay at the beginning of the annual holiday, or the employee's average weekly earnings for the 12 months immediately before the end of the last pay period before that annual holiday. So what does that mean? Check your payroll systems. They should be set up that way, but it's important to check and confirm to avoid a nasty shock down the line in terms of either back pay or, at worst, an employment dispute. We'll now head you over to Keith from the South Island. Welcome in, Keith. The rest is yours, my friend. Enjoy.
Keith, you might have to unmute yourself, mate. I don't think I can do it.
No, you can't. I've done it now. Hopefully you can hear me.
Good.
Thank you, Barry. Yes, well done, my friend. And yes, reiterate what he said earlier on. Happy Christmas and festive period to all you all. Don't forget, it happens every year, so don't panic. Don't throw the toys out the cot. Just take a deep breath. You'll get through it, and it will. Guess what? It will come around again next year as well. So other things that you need to be sort of keeping an eye on during this period, of course, stock level and supply. Particularly around these times of periods, you know, your breweries and other people seem to take off. If not just the stat holidays, they also might close down for over that Christmas period. So check all your things, know when your suppliers are closing down, know what delivery days they have, because they may vary from what you're used to it. If possible, and you know, we sort of noticed this particularly down here in the south. With the breweries and after following the earthquakes, look to carry some extra stock, because you never know that all of a sudden they'll go, shit, we can't get this, we can't get that. And in fact, there was even a case down here at one stage where they ran out of space over a holiday period. So if you can put a wee bit extra into your stock lines, then do so. But also be aware that you are carrying that stock, and if you're not going to get rid of it, it's going to be dead money sitting in your thing. So balance it out and have a look at it. Check your consumables, because, yeah, probably your consumable stuff is probably the bigger one, where they might take a whole 2-week break period over this period. So check it, make sure that you've got enough to cover you through. Also reach out to other clubs in your area. You know, you never know. If you do run out of something, one of your other clubs might be able to assist you. And that's what we're all about. If your kitchen is closing, check by your use-by dates on perishables to make sure you minimise your waste. You know, if you are shutting that area down, make sure that you check your stocks, make sure you get those levels down and work through it, so that you're carrying very minimal by the time you actually finish up. So security. Yeah, unfortunately, guys, and just recently, poor old Betty at Papakura went through a bit of an incident. But when times are tough, and around this Christmas period, some miserable people out there think that it's time for them to get operating. So make sure that you put that on silent, might make it better. Make sure that you are protecting yourselves and being aware. These times of year, unfortunately, the not so nice people out there also think this is an opportune time to do their little nasty works, etc. Be aware of your cash pickups. What days will your local bank be open? Again, they tend to take off a couple of weeks, making sure that your cash levels are quite low. And if you can, where possible, ensure that your staff are not left alone, particularly on opening up and closing up. And it's even a good time because you do have sort of 2 periods of the day where you are likely to have some incident occur. That, of course, is opening and, of course, closing. So closing, yes, if you can, make sure that at least 2 people are there for close-up. And the same in the morning. Nothing wrong with having a wee drive around your premise just to make sure everything looks okay before you get out of your car and head in to do your business. Liquor licensing. Make sure any of your special license applications required over the festive period are lodged with the DLAs. Yep, make sure you've got them in now. And particularly even looking at your events that you might have in January and even early February. Remember, your councils will probably shut down for a month. And the fact that they require 20 working days, if you need a special license sometime in early February, I'd be getting it in now, not leaving it, because you'll find that they shut down for a very long period of time. So, and of course, their 20 working days is 20 working days, not 20 days. So just have a check on it. make sure you've got those in sufficient times. Notify them if you are closing down your period for any particular length of time. Not if you just say closing for 1 day or something like that, probably okay. But if you're going to shut down for a period, some people do take the opportunity to close down for a week. Yes, you would be just. You don't have to, but it is good practice, and it just keeps you, in the good books with them by letting them know. They do have a few CPOs around this time, particularly leading up. It's a bit like drink driving as well. You'll know that they tend to set up their roadblocks and have all their stuff around Christmas time. So just be ever vigilant, and particularly around serving intoxicated people and things like that. Checking your intox levels. You don't want your members going out there and all of a sudden driving straight into a roadblock and half them getting done for DIC. Not a good look. So just be ever vigilant around those requirements that you already have. So close down period, if you are closing down, hopefully if you are, and there'll be a few clubs out there that look to, because it is an opportune time to get everybody a week off or 2 weeks off. But there is processes that you need to go through to have a closed down period. You are entitled to do it. It does get rid of holidays, but from most clubs, you probably might close Christmas Day. Another interesting one, of course, is New Year's Day. Generally, if everybody's had a really good New Year's Eve, not the busiest day going out there, but it's still good to be open. You are open. You've got your gaming rooms open. You've got your other activities going. So if you are going to do it, make sure you've given your staff plenty of notice, and follow what you need to do for any closed down period. General. So those were class 4 gaming, maybe different deadlines for your banking. So just watch those. Make sure you get those things in. It's a bit like all the regulations. Just make sure that you are getting things, and check on when you have to have things in by, so that you don't fall foul of anything. I would do advertising your promotion to maximise potential business opportunities. So, if you are open, and particularly some clubs are festive clubs. Some clubs, the likes of, particularly in Christchurch, most people disappear to go to Nelson or head somewhere else, so it can actually be a bit of a quiet time. So if you are doing some promotions, make sure you advertise them to try and encourage people coming into your club and using it over that festive period. Not just a reward for those that are there. Use it as a thing to get people into you. Make sure your comms are clear and timely to members around anything you're doing. If you don't, and of course the member turns up and you've shut down because you're not opening until later that day, of course all you're going to do is give yourself headaches. So make sure you inform and keep your membership informed to avoid membership sort of disputes and people getting upset and things like that. Because unfortunately, holiday season, as in the second line, is not always the happiest time for all, and it does put stress on people. So reach out, guys. Reach out to your staff. You don't know their circumstances. They've got stress. They're worried about what's happening at Christmas. It can be a stressful time for people. So be ever vigilant. Just take that opportunity. Reach out. Ask your staff how they are, particularly young ones or people with families. It can actually be quite a stressful time. Also, our members. Did notice there, people that have lost somebody during the year, and unfortunately in a club movement, we have to attend far too many funerals, but it is part of life. But check in on those people and those members that have lost somebody during the year, because this will become a very lonely time for them. So another opportunity for you maybe to reach out for those and get them down to your club and let them know that they're not alone. And I think
Got
you're
any
up now,
questions come
Barry.
through, Lee?
That's you, my friend.
Give it a couple of minutes for questions to be posed. Nothing. And just to let you all know that this webinar has been recorded and will be available on the website in a couple of days once Lee's tidied it all up. We're pretty good. No questions coming through, Lee. Well, everyone, thank you again for tuning in. At least with me too, on behalf of everyone here at National Office, wish you, your members and whānau a safe and happy festive season and a successful 2026. It is a time to be spent with loved ones and those nearest and dearest. If you're travelling, please travel safely. We look forward to seeing you bright and bushy-eyed in 2026. National Office will be closed from the 19th of December to the 5th of January, but rest assured the phones will be manned every day during that period. Wishing you all a safe, happy, enjoyable festive season. Goodbye for now.